So England, Elon, China, Russia, all these global things are going on. Plus, we got some big earnings come up this week. Is the world melting down? Yes. Yes, it is. Hey everyone, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel, and this is your daily Uncut News. So, Liz Truss, her days are numbered according to some sources in the UK. We'll see if that holds to be true. It's funny, it was a couple days ago where I was saying, I bet you they're going to lose their jobs because they issued a statement that, oh, we're going to 100% be here next week. And like, what? Like when you give that kind of confidence and timeline, it makes you feel like you're definitely not going to be there. So now we're saying her days are numbered. We'll see. And but really, frank, I don't have much confidence in the UK government or leadership. And so this has spurred a lot of volatility in the market. People just don't know what to think about the British pound and what to think about the European economy, what to think about energy. And this just adds more fuel to that fire. Also, too, this was kind of a sad story, actually. You can see the headline here. Russian troops kill Ukrainian musician for refusing role in cursing concert. So, I mean, basically, there's a Ukrainian musician. He didn't want to be a part of the Russian concert, and they went to his house and shot him. I mean, I don't really have anything positive to say about that other than I want this war to end. And, for those of you who value just freedom of choice, this is not a good situation. There's nothing positive to say about this. So, like I said, I don't have anything positive to say about it. I'm just really sorry to hear that. Elon is getting involved in world politics, and we talked about this before. He was writing stuff on Twitter about what he thinks the solution to the Taiwan problem with China. What about the solution to the Ukraine-Russia war? He's between the stuff out, and then recently I think he's going to be still using Starlink to help the effort in Ukraine. I'm not sure what he's doing because sometimes he's not funding it and then he is funding it. But regardless of what's going on, one of the things that is very concerning, and I've mentioned several times, is if I'm investing in this company or I'm on the board, I don't want my CEO like actively looking to be involved in this kind of stuff, which Elon evidently is. But it is what it is when you're, one of the richest person, or is he I don't think he's a rich person in the world, but he's one of them for sure. Definitely top five. It always changes because also too with Tesla stock going down, his net worth will be decreasing, of course. In China, I did a full video on this. If you want to watch that, please do. But President Xi came out and basically saying, "Hey everyone, we're China." We're strong, and if you oppose us, you will fail. And that was basically the gist there. And it's definitely soured U.S.-China relations, and they're also seem to be teaming up with North Korea, which we've been talking about on the last video. So please check that out. Also, too, the Evergrande situation. I think that's one of the biggest stories that you get news every now and then. It trickles out. It's basically, is China's real estate market melting down, and will this create a domino effect in the financial banking system? And this is global banking system. We know that UK has a direct effect, and China does as well. And I just want to show you guys this. This is the Evergrande founder's home in London. It's like the most expensive one there. And there's been rumors that he's going to try to sell it, but I mean, you got to find a buyer too, right? And one of the things I want to talk about too as well, in this crazy crashing market, you have a lot of bag holders, and I just thought this meme was really funny. This is Portnoy. He says, I officially sold all my meme stocks. I lost 700,000-ish. Vlad and company stole it from me and should be in jail. So this is a kind of thing that you'll see. And you guys know, occasionally I'll make AMC videos, but basically what happens is, it happens all the time in these crashes, is everyone, points to, oh, they cheated me. Oh, they're criminals and blah, blah, blah. And here's the reality is you got to manage your risk and, understand that in this game, things don't always go up. And it happens to a lot of people, and I just want you guys to learn from your mistakes. And so hopefully you're here on this channel because we talk about where the market is going, and you're never surprised. And in fact, it shouldn't be a surprise. And all those people out there, like, I mean, I'm telling you guys, it's real. People on TV, they don't tell you the truth. People on YouTube, they either don't know the truth, or they basically tell you lies. It's frustrating, and I try to keep it really simple and really obvious. Take a look at this. I mean, this is the Buffett indicator. You can see this is the stock market value to GDP. And basically, this would signal that we're 18% above the trend line. You guys can see right there, 18% above the trend line. So we're a bit overvalued, and it's been like that for a while. And I've been warning you guys. And this is a slow grind down, and we'll see where we go. But you can look at the trend line, kind of where it's supposed to be trading. And generally speaking, markets tend to trade on the same sort of line over time. One thing's also too, though, which is hard to predict, is that we're going through a period of where basically we're going to be stop printing money and start shrinking the money supply is the idea. We'll see if the Federal Reserve does stick to that plan. I mean, you never know in this modern economic thing. And you guys can watch my videos on quantitative tightening, quantitative easing, where we cover that. Or watch the videos on market crashes that I've made. Do be aware of these things because it helps you understand what's going on, and you're not so like surprised and stuff. You understand where we are. Here, this is saying according to the S&P 500 PE ratio. So again, that's a price of stocks, how much in relationship to how much company money the company earns. You can see here we're about 30% overvalue or 30% above the historic average, right? So this could definitely fall below that. You never know. It just depends how much companies earn, and as we go into earnings week, we'll get a sense. We'll get a real good sense this week, actually. If you look at the numbers here, this is saying that we have an S&P 500 P ratio of 18.1, right? The mean is about 16. So, over time, we generally trade around 16. We're much lower than we were before. And I've been pointing this out for a long time. And guys, I get it. In a bull market, everyone's going whoop. And people are like, oh, Chris, you're just so stupid, right? And yeah, maybe it seemed like that, right? But I always knew that we were in a bubble, and I always tell people to be cautious. And when the Fed started announcing they're going to raise interest rates, it wasn't that hard to see. It just, some people refuse to look. That's basically what it is. And so in the reverse perspective, when the Fed starts cutting interest rates, which may or may not be maybe the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, sort of what people are saying now. So like a year from now is when maybe we'll start to see markets, perhaps, I say perhaps, because that's a lot. I don't know what's happening a year from now. Perhaps, stabilize a bit. But until then, it's tough to be positive. And also, too, you just want to kind of get a sense of where we are. Because you never know. Maybe companies come out and post a bunch of positive earnings this week. I kind of don't think so, but I'm just saying maybe they do. Because basically what you need here, get my drawing here, is you basically need earnings of companies to go up or prices of stocks to go down to get this number to be reasonable levels. That's what you need. Also, too, you need unemployment to go up. We're currently trading at, or not trading, trending, I should say. Unemployment's at 3.5%. It needs to be anywhere from 5 to 10%. Basically, people are going to have to lose their jobs. That's why I've been telling you guys about this for a while. Just our economy is running too hot. Healthy unemployment's around 5%. Again, we're at 3.5. So that's why I've been talking about jobs a lot on this channel. If you take a look at the yields, 2-year is at 4.47. It's just spiking. 12-month at 4.4. 2-year at was it? No. 10-year. Was it 10-year? Yeah, 10-year at about 3.99. It is hard to be bullish on stocks when yields are this high. It's just like, well, I could just get this 2-year thing and get a 4.447, guaranteed return, or I can take a risk with stocks with like another 10% downside, maybe 30% downside. I mean, you guys see this in like how a market behaves, get bad news, and suddenly like things just drop off like there's no floor. And, one of the things I always watch is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently trading at 19,000. The reason why is, to me, this represents the crazy fervor in the market. Until this money is out of the market, we're not at a bottom. Meme stocks and stuff seem pretty much over. It's fun to track these things. You still have a few people here and there that still believe in them, but pretty much all this kind of money is going to be out. So what's going on with earnings this week? Okay, so Monday, some big ones, right? You got Bank of America, Charles Schwab. What else we got here? I'm just looking at the list myself. Those are the ones that stand out to me. You could go Bank of New York Mellon Corporation. So Bank of America and Schwab, all the banks, I think they're going to be essentially losing money or down on their profits in terms of investment. We know that from the other banks. And we'll see what they report. I am nervous on the banks, mostly because there's been a lot of things that they are expecting a bunch of bad loans and bad debt. Because the interest rates go up, people are going to struggle with paying their bills, essentially. And that has been a real thing. And also, too, as energy prices go up, people struggle to meet their basic needs. So I don't think we're going to not have banks in the future. And, the bank stocks do offer dividends, but I am cautious on those, just to let you know. Let's see what else we got. On Tuesday, Johnson & Johnson, I'm always fine if people say, I want to buy Johnson & Johnson. I got no problem with that ever. Now, it is true you can buy these stocks overvalued. That's completely true. And also, too, some risks of Johnson & Johnson. There always been talk that Democrats would say they would regulate prescription drugs a little bit more, and the pharmaceutical companies. So that there is a chance of that. So do be aware. And also, too, that there's been some corruption with insurance, which relates to Johnson & Johnson. They're not an insurance company, but just how we price drugs and also to how we pay for them. So there are some risks, but it's not like Johnson & Johnson can go out of business. Those are the kind of things that are very, very defensive. One of my favorite stocks in the market, which I always talk about, Lockheed Martin. It was our best pick last year. It's been doing very well. We'll see. I think if you're looking for something long term, I just don't bet against Lockheed. I'm very confident in that. Now, Netflix has definitely come down in price. Some people are bullish on it now. I was always, cautious. Like as I was watching this thing go up and up and up, it just seemed like, what the heck is going on with that thing? And it's definitely fallen from the top. So, you can make your call on that one. My feeling is that it's definitely not at the high. So if you're interested, it's not at the top. But if things get really, really bad in the economy, the fundamental question is, will people keep their Netflix? So that's an interesting thing to think about. Alberts is an interesting one as well. There's been talks, as you guys know. I made a video about Kroger buying out Albertsons. Whether or not the deal goes through, it depends how many politicians they bribed. And there are interesting arguments on whether or not is it good that Kroger buys out. So watch that video if you haven't already. A Kroger Albertson video that I made a little bit ago. Omnicom Group is an interesting one. That's an advertising company. Fundamentally, their numbers always look good. P ratio look good. They have a dividend, but do be aware, going to recession, advertising may slow, meaning that companies may not pay so much money for that kind of stuff. So that's a one to watch as well. Hasbro, this is a company I like also, but guys, everything has risks. I'm just telling you positive, negative. So Hasbro is one I do like though, mostly because they have a dividend, they have decent numbers. The negative of the Hasbro though is that their CEO recently passed away, so leadership is a bit under question. Also, too, one of the things that's interesting about them is they make a bunch of money off Wizards of the Coast, and there's been a rumor that Wizard of the Coast may or may not split off. That's like your Dungeons and Dragons licenses and Magic the Gathering, like games. I don't know if they would ever do that, but it's just always been a rumor. I don't think toys are going to disappear anytime soon. The pros of Hasbro would be like, if parents don't want to take their kids out to movies because they're too expensive, buying toys for home. Also, too, the negative would be like, well, all the toys were already bought during the pandemic. No one's going to buy toys anymore. I mean, I don't think they're going to disappear, but it is an interesting one to take a look at. I haven't looked at it for a while, like recently on their numbers. But Hasbro is always one I like to watch. I like toys. I think toys is an interesting one. Also, too, what else we got? Oh, yeah, right. Wednesday is probably your biggest earnings report, maybe of the week, is going to be Tesla. If that thing has a bad report, man, look out below. I think the market will really, really take a dive. We will see. No predictions on that. Love to hear your predictions, but I think this will be a market mover. And this will be mark your calendar. Wednesday will be a crazy day when Tesla reports earnings. Now, generally speaking, they do have good earnings reports. They do, but their CEO is kind of like going a little bit crazy these days, and relations with U.S. China are certainly hurt Tesla. So we'll watch. We'll see what happens. Procter & Gamble is a company I always like. They just sell toothpaste and products that we always use. So they're going to make money. And these kind of companies, they're good. Whether or not it's overvalued now, that's a trick, because the strong dollar hurts them, and also too because they're everywhere. It's not like no one uses their products. It's just that they get hurt by international trade. I mean, a lot of these companies do that. Most of our big companies are exposed to countries abroad. So just be aware of that. But yeah, Procter & Gamble is a company that I like for sure. Abbott Labs is a decent one. What else we got here? IBM is an interesting one as well. It's one of those American companies. It's a dividend stock. It's pretty stalwart. You can't expect like life-changing money with this kind of thing, but they do make money and they are profitable. Let's see what else was mentioning on here. Las Vegas Sands, that'll be an interesting one. That stock is so volatile because it's so dependent on whether or not essentially Macau opens up, or what's going on with Vegas. But are people traveling and gambling or not? Let's see what else is the earnings report. Philip Morris is a very defensive stock if you're interested in that kind of stuff. AT&T and Verizon have really been taking a hit, though. This is probably my worst pick from last year. I was like, you know what, guys? Phone stocks are really good because people are going to pay their phone bills. They're not going to cancel. And it turned out they didn't cancel, but people aren't paying their phone bills. So that was a bit of a real problem for them. And then, in fact, the winner, and this is sort of my stubbornness to share with you, I knew that T-Mobile was an interesting one. As it turned out, they're just eating up market share from Verizon and AT&T. They didn't have a dividend, so that's why I wasn't interested. But my kind of what's word to say, stubbornness for only going with dividend stocks made me miss T-Mobile. So that was a bit of a mistake on that one. So, but yes, they do offer a dividend. Union Pacific's an interesting one. They had a trouble with the strikes, all the train ones, and so we'll see if the strike does it. And I think the strike is canceled, from my understanding. But it could still happen, and also too they're going to be hit with higher labor costs. So it's not like trains are going to disappear, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. Maybe not so strong. Freeport McMoRan, that's an interesting one. Materials, and I think Nucor might be materials as well. I don't follow Nucor that much, but I never know what to make of these stocks. They're so volatile. You think they would be good, but oftentimes they have mines and materials in countries that aren't particularly stable. So that is a risk with that. I mean, dude, every stock on the market seems like it has risks right now. Like Dow should be a stalwart one, but they're getting hit by material costs as well, and have been sinking. And let's see what else we got here. And then Friday we have Verizon, which we'll be watching. Goldman Sachs, that'll be a big one. Schlumberger, that would be your oil. Huntington Bank shares. Yeah, so that's what's kind of going on. You got a lot of banks reporting, it looks like, which will definitely move the market. And then you got Tesla. So that's what I'm watching for. And then the last thing, which is a really funny story. Actually, not that funny if you're the card makers, but evidently there was like this crazy gang, I guess you want to call them, of thieves that were stealing cars from both dealership lots and from factories. This was all out of Detroit, and basically they hacked key fobs. There's different ways to do it, but they were doing it, and this is something that I keep telling you guys over and over again. If you want a good job, be in cybersecurity. Like, for example, hacking cars is a real problem. So what they were doing, they were stealing Dodges and like GM cars, and they were particularly interested in ones that have the Hellcat engine. So if you're familiar with the Hellcat engines, please comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But this is really funny. The reason why they were interested in the Hellcat engines is because those are like really fast, and they could actually outrun police cars. True story. So they're stealing cars that were fast enough to outrun police cars. And the other thing that's really funny is I guess the cars they were stealing, or trucks, as you want to call it, but cars, vehicles. The retail on these things would be like 50 to 100,000, and then they were selling them on the street from like 3,500 to like 15,000. So like ridiculous discounts, like 80% discount kind of stuff. It's a crazy world that we live in. But they were caught. So kids. Moral of the story is, well, two morals. If you're going to steal cars, steal the Hellcat ones, because you could theoretically outrun the police. I say theoretically because chances are police have helicopters. You're not that smart, are you? And they do catch up with you. And the other bits are just, I guess, there was some sort of holdup of a postal worker, and then they went to the person's house who like tried to hold the postal worker, and they found all these stolen vehicles and stolen mail and all this crazy stuff. So, moral of the story is, okay, don't try to hold up postal workers. Don't try to steal cars. And remember, even if the car is fast enough to outrun the police vehicle, the police have helicopters, just to let you know. They got radios too, so your chance is real slim. So anyway, love to hear your thoughts on the car thieves. Love to hear your thoughts on earnings. Do you think Tesla is going to be big or not in this earnings report? And that's it. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.